again welcome to Diksha Mission JRF. This is the 56th episode of Diksha Mission JRF. I hope you haven't missed any of our videos and I think your preparations are going well. Diksha is here to assist you. Diksha is launching our Paper 1 live classroom and psychology live classroom courses in the coming week. So to know more about our courses, please visit our page www.dikshaclassroom.com. So in this video, we are going to discuss the previous year questions from the topic Teaching Aptitude in the 4th December 2019 forenoon shift. So let's start.
So once again, welcome to Diksha Classroom. So in this video, we are going to discuss the previous year questions from the topic Teaching Aptitude that have appeared in forenoon shift examination of 4th December 2019. So let's start. This is the first question. Which of the following are classroom related factors that influence effectiveness of teaching? 5 codes are given. You have to select the option containing the correct codes. Prior task related behavior of students, adherence to linear pattern of communication by the teacher, socioeconomic status of the family to which learners belong, inappropriate use of technological resources by the teacher, and cultural background of students. So in this question, you have to select the classroom related factors that influence the effectiveness of teaching. What are the classroom related factors that can enhance the teaching situation, that enhance a learning process? Those options have to be selected. So let's discuss each of these codes in detail. First one is prior task related behavior of students. You have to find out if prior task related behavior of students can enhance or influence the total effectiveness of teaching learning process. We must say yes, because prior task related behavior of students help the student to actively participate and complete the assigned work. So the prior task related behavior and also the previous knowledge that is possessed by a student about some subject or about any other skill definitely play an important role in determining the effectiveness of teaching process. So yes, prior task related behavior and also the previous knowledge level of student matters in teaching. So yes, this is included in the option. Now, adherence to linear pattern of communication by the teacher. Sticking on to a linear pattern of communication by the teacher have any influence in determining the effectiveness of teaching? We must say yes. The linear pattern of communication is a one-way process. We know that is what linear means. The teacher is the speaker and the students are the listeners. So these type of one-way communication will be having a negative influence in teaching efficiency. So adherence to linear pattern of communication by the teacher also plays in determining the effectiveness of teaching process. So this is also can be included. Now, inappropriate use of technological resources by the teacher. Is it a necessary concern in predicting the teaching efficiency? Inappropriate use of technological resources? We must say yes. Because despite significant resources allocated to integrating technology in the classroom, many teachers have struggled with disruptions that devices can bring. They had their work negatively impacted or have not used technologies effectively. So the lack of knowledge about technological resources and inappropriate use of those technological resources by a teacher can cause negative influences in predicting the total efficiency of teaching learning process. So this is also an important concern. You have to be considered in a teaching situation. So this option can also be included. So let's check if there is an option containing these 3 codes, code number 1, code 2 and code 4. 1, 2 and 4. Yes, there is an option C. Now we have to find out, we have to check why there is no 3 and 5. How can we exclude these two codes? It is really simple. Socioeconomic factors and the cultural background of the students does not play a significant role in teaching learning process. So just understand this. The socioeconomic status of a learner and a teacher and cultural background of student does not have any significant impact in predicting the efficiency of teaching learning process. So these two options can be excluded. So the correct answer will be option C. Moving on to the next question, question number 2. Which of the following statements differentiate teaching from learning? Teaching is a social act while learning is a personal act. Teaching implies learning. Teaching is like selling while learning is like buying. Teaching can occur without learning taking place. In teaching, influence is directed towards learning and learner, while in learning, it is usually towards oneself. You have to look into the question very carefully. The question is to find out the statements which differentiate teaching from learning. And the question is not about selecting the true statements that differentiates teaching from learning. So the question is not at all concerned about which of the statements are true or which of the statements are false about teaching or learning. Despite it focus on selecting the statement which simply differentiate teaching from learning. So you have to carefully read the question first. So let's discuss each of these options. There is a very simple way to answer this question because you have to select the statement which can differentiate one thing from the another. Those differentiate statement can be find out by picking up the terms like while or whereas. Those type of connecting words are used to differentiate one thing from the another. So there are 3 different codes which are used to differentiate teaching from learning. One is code number 1. Teaching is a social act while learning is a personal act. It clearly differentiates between teaching and learning. It says teaching is like a social act while learning is like a personal act. It differentiates one from the another. Now, teaching is like selling while learning is like buying. The statement focused on the idea that teaching is like selling something and learning is like buying, which is not true. It is not a true statement. Still, it differentiates teaching from learning. Then, in teaching, influence is directed towards learning and the learner, while in learning, it is usually towards oneself. According to this statement, in teaching, the total influence is directed towards the student and the learning process, while in learning, it is usually towards oneself, or it is some more of a personal thing. So this statement also differentiates the teaching from the learning process. Now take a look at the remaining 2 options. Teaching implies learning. It's a correct statement. Teaching always focusing on making some learning in the students. So teaching always aimed at causing a learning. Then teaching can occur without learning taking place. Even if the main aim of teaching is to make some kind of learning or to imply some kind of learning in students, we cannot say every time teaching can lead to learning. So teaching can occur without learning taking place. That's also a true statement, but it is not at all about, the question is not at all about selecting the true or false statements. So the correct answer will be the option containing 1, 3 and 5, because these are the statements which clearly differentiate between teaching and learning. You don't have to select the true statement here. That is the specialty of this question here. So the correct answer will be option A. Moving to the next question, this is an assertion reason question. Assertion statement states that use of slang in formal teaching makes communication lively and interesting. Reason statement states that academic decency demands the avoidance of slang in the classroom environment. So you have to find out if the reason statement is the correct explanation of assertion statement. So as we know, the question here is about using the slang in a classroom communication, in a classroom situation. We know slang will adversely affect the verbal and written skills of students. Students may show poor performance in reading and writing because of the use of slang. So in formal teaching, the use of slang is not at all encouraged because it negatively influences the total teaching learning process. So the assertion statement, use of slang in formal teaching makes communication lively and interesting, is a false statement because it discourages or it negatively influences the total classroom communication. So assertion statement can be said to, so assertion statement is false. So the only option which pointing out assertion as false is option D. A is false. Now, why the reason statement is true? Academic decency demands the avoidance of slang in the classroom environment. That is why exactly the assertion statement is a false one. Academic decency and a standardized formal education demands and it requires the avoidance of slang in the classroom environment as it negatively influences the total teaching learning process. So yes, the reason statement is correct. So correct answer will be option D. Assertion is false, but reason is true. Moving to the next question, question number 4. In which of the following types of learning materials the presentations are highly structured and individualized? So question number 4. Which of the learning outcomes are intended in teaching organized at understanding level? Longer recall and retention of facts, seeking relationships and patterns among facts, creative construction and critical interpretation of ideas, and D, mastery of facts and information. So here the question is about learning outcomes that are intended in teaching at understanding level of teaching. So you have to find out the feature of understanding level, that's it. We have discussed there are 3 different levels of teaching. So the question is about teaching levels. Understanding level is one of the levels of teaching we have discussed in the previous classes. We have discussed it in detail in the previous episodes. So if any one of you have any doubt, just go back to the previous videos and check it once more. Now I am giving you a brief idea about what are the different levels of teaching. We have discussed that there are 3 different levels of teaching, such as memory level, understanding level, and reflective level. Memory level of teaching was said to be a thoughtless level of teaching. Our thought is not required in memory level of teaching. It facilitates in memorization of facts, which further aids in higher order teaching. So it's all about, memory level is all about just memorizing things. It's concerned about using memory. Now, the second level is understanding level, which is mentioned in this question. Understanding level. It is the second level of teaching. It is the thoughtful level. In this level, we have to use our thoughts. Here, the students learn by understanding the facts and information and their use and purposes. The teacher explains the student about the relationship between principles and facts. That is how the learning takes place in the second level, understanding level of teaching. Now, in the top hierarchy, there is reflective level of teaching, which is a highly thoughtful and useful level of teaching. Here, the student will understand a situation and a concept by using his or her critical abilities, logical abilities, imagination, intellectual abilities, etc. So, those type of teaching learning is taking place in the reflective level of teaching. So, here the question is about the second level, which is understanding level of teaching. We know understanding level of teaching is concerned about making the student understand a concept by exploring into facts and information and understanding the purposes, uses of those concepts, and the teacher explains the student about the relationship between those principles and facts. That is how teaching takes place in the understanding level. So as we can understand, the only option which is concerned about the teaching that occurs at understanding level is option B, seeking of relationship and patterns among facts, which is exactly what understanding level does. Seeking the relationship and patterns among facts and principles. The first option, longer recall and retention of facts, is said to be an example of memory level of teaching. Then creative construction and critical interpretation of ideas can said to be reflective level of teaching, because here the student uses his or her creative ability, critical interpretation, critical reasoning, and intellectual abilities. Just the topmost hierarchy of level of teaching, which is the reflective one. Now, mastery of facts and information. Mastery of facts and information can said to be a feature of autonomous level of teaching, which is the result of all these three levels of teaching. It is the result of memory, understanding, and reflective level of teaching. It is the product, mastery of facts and information. So, the correct answer will be option B. Moving to the next question, question number 5. Information overload in a classroom environment by a teacher will lead to high-level participation, semantic precision, effective impression, and delayed feedback. So here the question is about information overload. Information overload in a classroom environment by a teacher will lead to which of the following option? It's also a very simple one, because we can understand the answer just by looking into it, because information overload is a negative aspect in any form of communication. So information overload will also lead to a negative aspect. High level participation, semantic precision, and effective impressions are the product of a good classroom communication. And as we know, information overload is not a good aspect of communication. So information overload will lead to a delayed feedback, which is a negative result in classroom communication. The students may get distracted due to information overload, and the feedback may be delayed as one does not have immediate interaction with instructor. So if there is information overload in a classroom communication, we can expect delayed feedback from the students, not high level participation, semantic precision, or effective impression, because these three are the result or products of a good classroom communication. So correct answer will be option D. So these are the 5 questions that have appeared from the topic teaching aptitude in this particular examination. Thank you.
So these are the questions from the topic teaching aptitude. In the coming videos, we'll be discussing the questions from more topics like research aptitude and communication. So that's it. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.